weight loss injections. So let me explain to you how they work, what they do, and why they can be really beneficial for women in perimenopause and menopause whilst I'm making my lunch, which is going to be a bit like a masala spicy egg omelette with brown rice. So a bit of everything thrown in. So you might have heard of Ozempic, okay, but the weight loss injections themselves are Wegovy and Mounjaro. Mounjaro is my injection of choice that I prefer to prescribe. And the way that they work is that they mimic a hormone called GLP-1, and in Mounjaro's case, also GIP in the gut. So they are once weekly injections, which sort of gradually go up in dose over time, on a monthly basis. And they mimic this hormone, and it works in 3 key ways. The hormone sends signals to the brain to tell you that you're full. So you end up eating smaller portions, eating less frequently. It also switches off that constant craving food noise that maybe some of you might have experienced. The other way that it works is it slows the digestive tract. So it keeps food longer in the tummy and slows the digestion process down, so keeping you feeling fuller longer. But then you may get side effects like reflux, bloating, constipation, wind, belching. And the third way it works is to work on the pancreas to improve insulin sensitivity and the efficiency of insulin. And insulin is the key hormone that helps us process our food efficiently. And that's why in perimenopause and menopause, so in midlife, the reason why we get this midlife weight gain, which is probably different from when you were younger, is because as our hormones decline, they change, they reduce, particularly estrogen and also testosterone, then what happens is that our insulin hormone does not work as efficiently. And our metabolism changes and our metabolic elasticity is far less. And that's why in midlife, we are at a higher risk of obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and also bad cholesterol. So LDL, increase in LDL, triglycerides, increase in inflammation. And so that's why we end up gaining weight. And also our body fat distribution changes. So it's not just weight that we gain waistline. Okay, so it's this visceral fat, this abdominal fat, which actually puts us at a higher risk of developing things like heart disease, increases our risks of diabetes, as I mentioned. Also things like, it puts a strain on our liver as well. So there are lots of reasons why managing weight in midlife becomes harder and harder, and it almost feels like we're working against ourselves when we're trying to lose weight. So, in the past, maybe what you've done is you've cut out sugar, you've cut out alcohol, you've exercised more, but it's not the same as it was before. So it's not just as simple as eating less and moving more. It's almost like our body wants to work against us, and that's why the weight loss injections, by helping us to improve insulin sensitivity, slowing down the digestion, and more than anything, I think what I hear from so many of my patients is it's switching off that food noise. So many women in midlife get cravings. It might be because they haven't slept so well at night. It may well be that, and so because of that, they wake up feeling hungrier, they feel less full. So there's those indirect effects that we're experiencing when it comes to weight gain because of lack of sleep. Also, we know that there are physiological factors at play, which affect the way that we process our food efficiently. So, whilst in the past you might have heard about, just exercise more, eat less, do some strength training, which is still important in midlife. Now, those things don't work as well as they used to. So the weight loss injections, by enhancing our insulin sensitivity, helps to shift that waistline. And also what it does is to switch off that food noise, reduce those sugar cravings, and also help to reduce some of those metabolic risks that I was talking about before. Helps with improving our cholesterol, and also it helps with our blood pressure, because losing weight is one of the factors in helping to reduce hypertension, blood pressure. And so that's why I'm a real big fan of them for women in midlife, because I think midlife weight gain is very different from your 20s and your 30s, and the challenges that come with it are very different. So, you know, to all of those cynics out there who say, well, you know, what about in 20, 30 years time? We don't know what the risks are, or the long-term risks are. And, you know, do we really have all the studies? Well, Ozempic, which I mentioned, is semaglutide. Yes, it's been around for 20 years or so for type 2 diabetics. And, you know, it was discovered that it caused weight loss in those patients. It has been around for 20 years. Also, as I mentioned, it's very different, you know, the midlife weight gain. And I think that when we're looking at 20, 30 years time, we really need to address weight. If it was just as simple as eating less, moving more, then we wouldn't have 2/3 of women in midlife being overweight or obese. Okay, so really we need to tackle this head on. And in 20, 30 years time, when women are sort of 75, 80, I think really they're not going to be, I'm sure we will have many more studies, many more things to support these weight loss pens. We know that we have studies coming out saying they help to reduce the risk of Alzheimer's, partly because Alzheimer's can also be thought of as like a type 3 diabetes. Insulin resistance is the key to so many disease processes. And we know that obesity has a direct effect on 13 different cancers, also on our mobility, on our joints. So it's really key that we support women in their weight loss journey now, in midlife. It's not the only answer. You still need to ensure that you have your protein intake. You need to make sure you have plenty of fiber in your diet. You need to drink plenty of water, partly to reduce some of those side effects that you might have heard about, like gallstones, like pancreatitis, but also for maintaining our muscle mass. One of the things I say to my patients is, think less about the weight, think more about the waistline. I don't want you to end up with being like a potato person, you know, sort of round in the middle with skinny arms and skinny legs. I want strong arms, strong legs, and a waistline. So reducing that visceral abdominal fat is key. So yes, so it's a tool. It's not the full answer. You still need to think about what you're eating, being mindful, being intentional, ensuring that you've got protein, you've got fiber in your diet, making sure you're drinking plenty of water, hydrating, because when you're on the weight loss injections, you're eating less. And so we need to compensate for that fluid intake that you normally would have got through your food by drinking a bit more. So I'm going to go off and eat my lunch, which I've made like this stir-fry eggs and spinach and garlic and chili. And if you've got any questions around the weight loss pens, injections, whatever you want to call them, GLP-1s, then comment below and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.